I was on my way here and I realized that so many things in my life are so good now. That was a great moment. I've been listening to you for a long time and I've gotten to some new places. But I work with people like that woman that you just spoke to all day. I run a behavioral department at a pain clinic. So I'm with people who are hurting a lot and I want to help them so much. But that's really hard what you just did. I don't know. I want to do it better. I want to do it.
Do we have to make you run around the room?
Yeah.
Well, first you have to acknowledge that people are where they are. Okay. And so the tendency is to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
Well, when you meet them where they are, that's how you become deplenished. When you see a pattern of people, and it's predominant in your experience, it sort of teaches you how to think. And then you begin offering those vibrations, and that seldom offered thought becomes a more frequent thought, and then a more frequent thought becomes a belief, and then a belief becomes an expectation. And then you can't help because your expectation is in a different place. So you have to remind yourself how this really works. You have to remind yourself that whatever it is that you are seeing that is manifested is only a byproduct of a whole lot of things that came before. And you've got to get your attention on what came before. Here's the most important thing. For our friend or for any teacher that's trying to uplift anybody, it applies to the conversation we had about food. It applies to everything. This is the most important thing you have to understand. So they have a condition that you're aware of. We're not asking you to point out the vibration that led to this existing condition. We want you to talk about a vibration that hasn't led to anything yet.
Wait, what?
So here's somebody's living something that they don't want to live. And you're a teacher, a healer, a facilitator, wanting to help them change what they're living. So you've got your attention on what is for them, whatever condition they are currently experiencing. Yeah. Could be a financial disaster, or it could be a physical one like you're describing. So you've got your attention on what is. So it seems like sometimes that what Abraham is teaching is you need to point out to them what they were doing energetically that led to that condition. But that only encourages more of that condition. Okay. So you want to start earlier in their journey, and you want to teach them about energy that has nothing to do with that. So you want to distract them from the only thing they want to talk about. You want to distract them from the thing that's got them in that holding pattern of no reception and no replenishment. You want to distract them from that. That's why we say to you, you're energy beings. That's why we say to you, you are vibrational. That's why the language teacher says you have a new name and you live in a new place and you have a new occupation and you have a new everything, so that you would see yourself differently. You got to get out ahead of this. You can't roll around in the dysfunction of their current experience and pull them out of it. You've got to show them a new vantage point.
But they come to me with that. That's what they want to talk about.
So you have no ability to see beyond what is? This is what we're asking of you. If you have no ability to see beyond what is, then you should put on the shingle on your door, come here and I will help you amplify the problem that you bring to me.
I don't. It's hard. I get pulled.
It's hard because you're doing it in a way that won't work. It's not hard. That's impossible. That's not just hard. That's undoable. That's unaccomplishable. That's not just hard. That's going about it in a way that will not work. So we're wanting to shake you into looking at it in a different way. Does this person that has this physical, whatever they've got, do they have an energy body? And is their energy body lethargic and depleted?
No.
So wouldn't you like to help them realize that they have an energy body and find some way to connect them to it?
Yes.
And don't you think no longer talking about where they are is the first really important step? It's like you'll come to us and you'll have 10 things that matter to you, and 9 of them will be working well, and you want to talk to us about the one that isn't. So you take that one that isn't, and then you make the other 9 not work well either for the time that you're focused upon that one that isn't. Or you could do it the other way around. You have 9 things terrible and 1 thing that's working. You could focus on the 1 thing that's working, and the other 9 would become a non-player in your vibration. You could get in the receptive mode, and you could start receiving insight and inspiration about what to do about those other problems, unless the problem's active. If a problem is active, the solution cannot be active at the same time. A solution vibration and a problem vibration are 2 entirely different vibrations. So you've got to distract them from their problem long enough that they can find a feeling of hopefulness or a feeling of expectation. And you can't help them do that if you don't believe. And right now, you don't.
I'm also scared of getting in trouble at work.
Well, we understand that the medical vows say if somebody's got something bad, it is your duty as a physician to perpetuate what's gone wrong. We saw it in what you signed. I will not give false hope. I will not pretend that there's a possibility of getting better under these conditions.
I mean, I feel like I came in with the first group that I ran, and I feel like I was trying to hold this space that you're talking about, and in the beginning they were excited, and then I felt like something happened. I mean, it must have been me, but I lost them. And then they were attacking me like crazy.
It's not an easy thing to have a lot of attention on unwanted. It's a really normal thing to be conditional and responsive to conditions. Everybody does that. But at some point, you have to accept the not feeling goodness of that, and you have to make another decision. And you have to become selfish enough that you're not willing to think those thoughts that feel so awful. You want to say to them, sort of like we just said to our friend, we will not accept that you cannot do this. And you can argue it and argue it and argue it and demonstrate your lack of progress all you want. I'm going to continue to know what's possible for you. Isn't it miserable when you feel miserable and some bright, shiny person tries to cheer you up? Don't you just want to punch their lights out? Don't you want them to just go away and leave you alone? Nobody wants you to try to fix them. But when they're coming to you because there's a solution that they seek, you've got to find a way of feeling better. And you've got to do that before they get there. You've got to get your energy going before they get there.
And sometimes during, too, right? Like I have to keep going back to it.
Maybe, but just get it going before they get there and see what happens, and get it going before they get there and see what happens, and get it going before they get there, see what happens, and get it going before they get there and see what happens. And one of them will have a breakthrough, and you say, hey, see, look over there.
Okay, but sometimes I feel like I have to meditate a lot then during the day.
So do it.
Is that okay? Okay.
What you keep saying to us is, Abraham, happiness is a very great price that I'm going to have to pay in order to help people. I've chosen this profession of helping people, and damn it, they won't let me help them. And not only am I not helping them, I'm starting to feel just like them. And we say, got to turn your eyes to something different. And it doesn't mean you have to back away from that, but it means you've got to get your energy going before you go in there. This is a good conversation to everyone about everyone.
Okay.
So we just have a few really simple questions for you just to sort of lighten this up so that you'll understand that we're not beating up on you. We just can feel the power of your desire so strong and your willingness to hear, because we've already seen the prize that you're looking for. But we just want you to know you can never get to that prize if you don't do this first. And you just want to jump over there like everybody else does, and you got to do this stuff first. And sometimes this stuff shows no evidence. It just feels better. Sometimes this stuff shows no evidence. It just feels better emotionally. There's no evidence. It just feels better. It just feels better to be hopeful than to be depressed. It just feels better. There's no evidence that you've really accomplished anything with it, but it just feels better. And so we've got to convince you that the emotional feeling is what you're teaching, but you've got to accomplish it. You have to do that first. So if you wake up and you don't feel hopeful about your group, do them a favor and stay home. I wanted to come, but I was afraid that you would just teach me how bad you feel instead of me teaching you how much better you can feel.
There are days like that, and I don't really know what to do.
Stay home. Stay home, and if you do it enough, they'll fire you.
It's easy to sit up here and feel happy and say, okay, but it's hard in the moment.
Stay home, and if you do it enough, they'll fire you, and then you'll be free. Because you don't have to do this. You can walk right out the same door that you went in. And when you feel like you have to be the path of least resistance for someone else, You're so empathetic. There's something in you, we're just going to tell you because we can feel it so powerfully. You will not allow yourself to be happy when you are dealing with so many miserable people. It just feels wrong to you to be happy when you're dealing with so many miserable people.
I feel really
and
bad.
we want to say, you can't be sick enough to make sick people get well.
Yeah.
In other words,
do that.
you never wake up in the morning and say, oh, I've been well for so long. I think I'll be sick for the next month so that maybe some of those sick people can be well.
I'm afraid.
Because I'm using up to your what?
I'm afraid they'll hurt me. I'm afraid they'll be mad at me. I'm afraid they'll leave me.
Because?
I'm too happy. I'm too far away from them when I'm happy.
Well, that's not a hard to understand concern. They might be. When people are miserable, happy people are annoying to them. But interested in them people don't annoy them. And people who are solid in what they know don't annoy them. And people who are tuned into source energy don't annoy them.
Really? They really don't? I guess that's where I get stuck.
You see, you've got yourself in a cycle that you can't win.
I guess so.
I need to tap into source energy in order to help them, but I'm afraid if I tap into source energy, they won't like me.
Exactly.
And we say, who cares if they like you or not? Just help them. You teach to the clarity of your example. You might tell them a story. You might say, I was a pretty happy person, and I wanted to be an uplifter and a helper. So I got educated, and I got this job. And my heart was singing because I wanted to help those like you. And so then a stream of you came into my experience. And the happy person that I once knew myself to be got more and more and more unhappy. I started to feel more like you. It shocked me because I'd never felt like this before, but now I'm feeling unhappy. And then one day I thought, I'm not helping anybody feeling like this. And I was happy before and I'm unhappy now, so maybe I can be happy again. So I focused and fought and focused for my clarity and my alignment until I came back into replenishment, until I came back into knowing, because I want to help you. I want to help you. I came back into alignment because it's important to me that I help you. And as I got back into alignment and I started feeling better, then more of you are feeling better, and more of you are feeling better, and more of you are feeling better. So I'm just proclaiming right here and now, I'm the teacher of this. I'm the one that's leading this. I'm not going to empathize with you. I'm going to get a vibration that's so strong that you have to empathize with me. I'm going to get tuned in, tapped in. Stop that. I'm going to get tuned in, tapped in, turned on to source energy. And in my alignment with source energy, I'm going to hold you as my object of attention. And it's not going to be possible for you to feel defeated and broken like you're doing right now. So you heard my story. I felt good, I focused on you, and I felt bad, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to be who I know I can be so that I can show you who I know you can be. Good enough. Really good. Now run around.